And then today we got full schedule release tonight.
That's right.
Coming up. Right, we're doing an emergency pod tomorrow. Oh, where are you going to be? Oh, you're going to be at the Preakness. You, thanks for leaving us again.
Sorry about that.
No, we're not really doing that.
Oh, okay. I would have listened, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's back. Ahmed Fareed is here. Have no fear. Phil Simms is gone. We get a real host in here. It's Chris Simms. It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Ahmed Fareed. What's up, buddy?
What up?
Good to have you. Had a
Good
little fun with you. You look good out on the Preakness.
Thank you.
Right, as usual. Didn't get too wet or rainy. You didn't get rained on too much.
It was a little rain, but once the race came, the rain stopped.
It was okay,
yeah.
right? It's amazing looking back in past how many Preaknesses were run in the rain. When they show like the top 10 races of all time, you're like 8 of them are in the rain.
I can't even see the horses.
I know. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You had a good time?
It was a great time.
Yeah.
And people watched again. I think we had like 7 million people watch the actual race portion of the broadcast. So no, it was good. We have no Triple Crown winner this year because Mystic Dan,
who fought hard,
second. He did.
Yeah.
He fought very hard,
right.
but for us ultimately, because we no longer have the Belmont.
Yeah,
that's now Fox.
Yeah,
so it's fine. It's
screw
fine
you, Fox. Deal with this now. It's just a standalone race.
Not our problem anymore.
Right. All right. Did you have a few drinks when you were there? Did you slam a few down?
I did. Not too much.
Because you're supposed to slam them down there, right?
Yeah,
they have like a thing there where they don't sip drinks. It's like chug a lug a lug a lug.
Well, they have the Black Eyed Susan. I mean, really, within horse racing and the big events, drinking is a big part of it because bourbon is everywhere in Louisville for the Kentucky Derby.
Right.
The mint julep is not a very good drink, so I didn't have any of that when I was in Louisville. It's not tasty at all.
Well, mint drink just doesn't go with me. No. I don't know about that one. Yeah,
so that's a bad one. But the Black Eyed Susan is a good drink. I did not have that. I try to keep it professional when I'm at these trips here.
You're always professional.
Yeah.
Except when you come into the barn and the podcast and you had a drink there. But that's all right. You're supposed to.
It was a pleasant surprise for me, though.
Yes.
In watching you and your dad. I was like, all right, your dad's going to be. I was like, oh, cool. Your dad's going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
That'll be. He was sitting in in this seat.
His big butt was in your chair. It's a little softer today. He broke it in for you a little bit.
It's like now his chair, right? I mean, he's the Super Bowl winning quarterback.
It was great to have him. I mean, it's always good in person, as you know, right?
Yes.
Anything's better than Zoom and the delay and making sure they get done talking or any of that. But
even when we've done Zoom before, sometimes your dad doesn't want to be on camera, just his voice there.
Yeah, right. So he had to be put on. Now, he did say, right, like he finds out, and of course our team, we do a great job of getting some social media stuff out there right away.
Yeah.
So like literally, only a few hours after he was done, he was like, oh man, you guys are putting stuff on social media already? And he's like, oh gosh. He's like, everybody in the family's on me because I didn't put any makeup on when I did it. And then, my first thing I heard is from, your sister Deirdre going, why didn't you put makeup on? You don't look good in any of these videos. He's like, oh, it's just what I wanted to hear when I was going up there to do the show with you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Phil.
Yeah, my
Thanks
sister's
kind
of famous for that. My sister's famous for that. Like my sister's the sister that love and loyal beyond belief, right?
Yeah.
But will also like the first Sunday night show of the year, Football Night in America. Like the first thing will be like, oh, Christopher, you look great, but can you let your hair grow out? Like, so no, I don't look great. You don't like my hair is what you're telling me. That's how we're starting the year out. Yeah. She's that sister that'll do that.
Look awesome up there. Who picked your tie?
Yeah, why can't you let your hair grow out? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that?
Well,
so,
we all need people
shut
like
up,
that, though.
sister.
You know what?
Deirdre.
Keep us grounded. But it was great to listen to.
It was fun.
We talked about my guy, Jared Goff. I definitely made sure to listen to that part of it.
Well, we have respect for Goff.
Yeah,
we know that.
No, it was all very good.
Yeah, and I always sometimes worry because I think people think we're going to be different in some way. And as I've told you, you've heard before, I mean, just, we grew up in the same school of football. And, of course, I grew up, he was one of my teachers in that school of football. So, our thoughts aren't going to be too different. And like we've always talked about, too, I think if you get a lot of the top minds in football together, the thoughts and some of the base premises of what you think about football in general are going to be very similar in a lot of ways. And I think that's surprising to hear for some people sometimes.
Well, and people don't know this, that you dress the same as him every day. Like, that's not just one thing that happened on the podcast. I mean, he
dresses like me. Okay, this is me. He's joining me on the he didn't button the top button, but he had the blue khakis on, the blue shirt on, so he was right in uniform, matched the logo. It was perfect.
Yeah, I love that he's got everything there. He's got the 2 waters in case he needs them. He's got his glasses, his sunglasses. It's like he just walked in. His credential is right. He just walked right in, went to the table, and sat down. A notepad that says Diana on it with a doggy on it, so he could write thoughts out. And a few times during the show, he was writing things down. I was going, damn, he's going to say something interesting. I looked at his notepad. He's drawing a star.
You know what I mean? He's doodling. He doesn't even realize he's doodling as he's doing it. Like,
it was while you were talking.
Yeah, while I was going, oh, he's going to say something interesting here because he was really, and I was like, oh, he's just drawing a star, and then he crossed it out or whatever.
Well,
but
I'm glad
always good with big
I'm glad I still have a job. He's welcome anytime, right? Did you tell him that?
Well, yeah, he doesn't have a job right now, so maybe we'll get him, you know, more involved here as we go on.
Which I thought maybe that's why he was like, all right, I'll go in the building. Who cares now?
Right.
CBS not getting mad.
They can't say anything. They can't say like, how dare you do something for NBC?
All right, so what we got, speaking of quarterbacks and evaluations and thinking the same, you're about to blow everyone's mind as we continue the top 40 quarterback countdown list. So this is what we have done so far. It took a pause with Big Phil, although he would have been very good at this, but you just wanted to be able to go anywhere you wanted to go with the discussions with Big Phil. And so we've gone 40 through 31 already. This is what we did last pod with the Young and the Reckless, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, the literal Young, and then Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston. We had 4 higher. Ryan Tannehill still needs a job. Yeah. Still no one out there hiring him.
I love that 4 higher, that 4 higher tier right there.
NFL logo behind his head. He's got the shield. He's protected by the shield. So now we get into some really juicy conversations here. We'll have it on this pod. We'll have it Tuesday after Memorial Day on that pod. I think these next 2 pods are really interesting because all these, this is very subjective. This is hard.
Oof, it's the hardest part of this, right? For all those, when we get the question when we're all done and people go, hey, what was the hardest part, right? Don't let me forget that it was like 29 through 17, where it's just like, damn, right? It's not only rookies, it's also guys who have been around the league and had some moments of going, damn, this guy's good. He might be a star. And then like, what? This year's not very good. So there's like, it's a very tough spot, and putting together guys who maybe only had one good year, you know, or maybe had a bunch of good years, but the last few years haven't been that good, and trying to piece that together, I am finding this to be the most stressful part of my list so far, no doubt.
Today we have one tier, basically, and it's going to be ready rookies. Yeah. Not all necessarily rookies here, but we're going to classify them
all
as
young,
that.
though.
All young. And I'm going to note here, you had your quarterback rankings for the draft and where you would take them. This is not going to necessarily line up right with that because this is who's ready right now to win this year.
Exactly right. The rankings for the draft and all of that is not like what we think they are right at this second. It's right. It's how they project to the NFL more 2 years from now, 3 years from now, when they get into the groove of the NFL life. That's more about, ooh, I like this guy as my long-term quarterback. This is the guy I would pick. That doesn't necessarily mean the guy I like for long-term quarterback is the most ready to play right now, or, you know, as I'm doing this, I'm taking liberties with this. You know this. It's projection. And I'm projecting it not as it is this second, but like, hey, they get a few weeks into the season, right? I know right now they might not be, you know, they're still, like I said on last week's pod, they're learning how to say the plays in the huddle and learning checks. And so they're at a basic level. But when they get to the end of training camp, they get to really what I'm thinking here with this list is week 3 or 4, when you start to see them in the nuts and the bolts of the season and have gotten greased up and a little used to life. And now you can start to see, wait, they're mentally comfortable. And now here they are as a player, right? That's kind of what I've always done with these younger guys and the projection of that, just to let everybody know.
And just to remind everyone, once again, the exercise here, in case you're new to the podcast for whatever reason. If you are, hello, welcome. Glad you're here. A great quarterback was on last episode. You should listen to that one. But this is for 1 year. This is, you're a coach. You got to win a Super Bowl. You got an average team. You got to pick the quarterback, and it's just 1 year. Win the Super Bowl or you're fired. And so this is the order that you're putting these guys in. The Simms Top 40 quarterback countdown has hit number 30, and your number 30 quarterback is?
Yes, J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota Vikings, number 10th overall pick, national championship quarterback. You better start putting some respect on his name a little bit. Stop reading stats, everybody. Stop looking at that all the time. Right? The guy's made for the NFL. He's an NFL talent. He's got he's a big time NFL talent. He is. His arm is big time. It didn't get the credit it deserved throughout the college season. I don't even think got the credit it deserved in the draft process and talking about it there, right? So that's where this is a guy that's NFL pedigree, ready to lead a football team. And we saw a lot of those pieces already at Michigan and ready to play pro football because that's what he did at Michigan too. And that's where, again, I like all these guys. And this is where this year's a little different for me because I think it's, and you've heard me say this a bunch, and anybody that's listening to the pod, I think these rookies, minus Drake May, who's not going to make the list, okay? I think they're the most ready rookie quarterback group I can remember since I've gotten on this side of playing football, right? And that's where, J.J. McCarthy obviously fits in here and is going to be ready to go for the Minnesota Vikings.
Let's dig deeper on a couple of those points you made there, because I think the narrative, and Pete notes here, that people call him a winner, but he was carried by his run game and the defense there at Michigan. Now, at Michigan, he was 27-1. In high school, he was 34-2 if you add that in there. He has a combined 61-3 as a starter since high school. So this guy has won a lot of the places where he went. But the throwing volume was down. Pete looked at the top 6 quarterbacks, the draft quarterbacks for 2024, passing volume last season. And he noted, yes, on first and second down, J.J. McCarthy was well behind all those other people. But on third down, he was right up there with all of them. Michigan put a lot on his plate on third down, and J.J. McCarthy, maybe more than anyone else, was able to succeed in those situations.
And as we've talked about, too, right, not easy to succeed in those situations, right? Hey, Ahmed, you haven't talked in a year. Now, we want you to come on and talk and never mess up, right? How easy is that? No reps, nothing. Don't do anything. But now come on and run the Olympics for us and be perfect, right?
Be difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult. I don't give a damn what you are. So that's not easy the way you just laid that out there. And let's just say something else. You know what the most important down is in the NFL? And where like quarterbacks are valued and evaluated, and it is literally, if you talk to half the offensive coaches in football and you said, hey, what is third down? They'd go, it's quarterback down. Because the quarterback's got to hang in the pocket, make a big throw, maybe make a play backyard-wise. J.J. McCarthy can do all that. He's the man on third down. And he's aggressive, and he can move in the pocket and make throws off platform while moving, sliding, sidearm, throw an in-cut, throw a deep crosser, do all that, let alone just the aggressive decision-maker he is, right? Even my dad talked about it a little bit on Monday. He drops back. He is looking to strike. He is. And he knows he's got an arm that can push the ball into some tight windows and push it down the field. And he's also tough and got great pocket feel along with that, which all goes into the third down thing there. So, yeah, that's, it's playing that style of football that gives you confidence. And then, again, I think the playing of the throws themselves, you watched enough Michigan football last year. It's not dink and dunk. It's not manufactured. It's not like, oh, let's give him a little 6-yard completion or let's throw a screen so his stats look a little bit better and everybody will get off his back. The Jim Harbaugh and them, they don't give a shit about that. You know what they gave a shit about? What they got, the national championship. And that's what's also a great thing about J.J. McCarthy. He's already proven he's got no ego. He's not a diva. He'll do whatever the team wants. He'll never say anything. I mean, he's one of the best players in college football, and he can get to throw the ball for 2 games, basically, and didn't say peep. I don't know. That's positive to me, okay? So that's what I love about J.J. McCarthy. And, there was another thing I was going to say. Oh, here's the other part of this. Yeah. Like to bust that narrative, right? I mean, one, I don't know. All these people who say these things, right? I want to go, damn, I've heard you say he's a winner as a positive thing all these other times, but here it's just like, it doesn't, I don't know. We don't want it to count for some reason. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, like, you don't think J.J. McCarthy could have been in some of these other offenses and lit it up? Like, you don't think if, like, J.J. McCarthy was on Tua's Bama team or something like that, like, he wasn't going to throw the ball all over the place? Like, come on, everybody. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, and again, this guy, when I stood on the field and saw him throw at Michigan this past year, it was like 2 throws, and I went, whoa, J.J. McCarthy's arm is, like, better than I gave it credit for. Ooh, yeah. And it really explodes out of his hand.
To that point.
Yeah.
So the Vikings beat writer's been watching him a little bit here lately. Alec Lewis, he's a Vikings beat writer for The Athletic. He goes, one thing is very obvious after watching J.J. McCarthy for 2 practices. The velocity cliche of the ball jumps out of his hand. I'm not sure it has ever been more apt for a dude. He has major juice.
Major juice. you know, there's the theatrics aren't there. So I don't think sometimes we talk about this sometimes where, you know, Brett Favre, it was like, oh, you could see his whole body getting into it. And it looked like the ball looks like it's going fast. And damn, it looks like he's trying really hard to throw it hard too. So it must be going hard, right? With like guys like McCarthy, I always bring up like a guy like Brady or somebody like that. They're longer arms, they're longer athletes, and they don't have to throw it hard because they got the longer levers and they put themselves in great positions, and then they have big hands to give it that last catapult off the arm and all of that, to where they can throw a ball, 100-mile-per-hour fastball, and you go, it looks like he's only doing it like 90%. It doesn't really even look like he's getting all the way into that and giving his into it, right? But that's another gift, because he can throw it as hard as he wants without having to tense up or overpower it or hold my breath and make a weird noise to do it, right? And because of that, he always controls power throws, and that's what I like too. Now, we've hit on some of the negatives, right? He's got to tighten his motion up a little bit, and he needs a few more clubs in the bag. That's the thing. You know, a lot of the times, young quarterbacks, when they go, wait, I want to throw a ball softer and with more touch, they go, let my arm get longer and I'll try to be graceful and do that. That's not how you throw a touch ball. It's actually the exact opposite. Like if you saw an Aaron Rodgers trying to throw a little fade in the back of the end zone or like a crossing route over a linebacker to drop it in, right? His motion is actually like right by his ear. And he just lets his body, it almost looks like you're flicking it. He's flicking it, right? He's flicking it. Yeah. No, he's actually mechanically keeping his arm really tight and using his body, and now allowing that and not letting the arm go all over the place. And then because of that, you can throw a spiral and still control the ball because you're using a body mechanic, right? When you're letting the arm go long, all of a sudden it's like there's a disconnect. And are we going to connect it right at the right spot all the time? You know, and they're going to have days where you're going to go, wait, I don't have the feel today. I'm not throwing a spiral. I'm off target. And that's where I think an area he could certainly fix in his game.
Yeah, the knock on him is that he can't layer it. It's like he doesn't have that arc, that high arc or two.
He needs to definitely get that. And I think that's where he'll learn here in OTAs and training camp, where he's going to go, damn, that guy's open, right? And I didn't throw it because I didn't get to throw. The throw that I wanted to throw wasn't there, like where I just drive it into the hole, right, and put it in his chest, right? And he's going to go back, and Kevin O'Connell's going to be like, hey, this is open. Like, you gotta throw this over our backer and drop it down in there in his pocket and put him in, you know, we can't get guys open like any more than this, you know, consistently all year. And he's going to have to learn to do that, and I don't think there's any doubt he can.
We're about to talk about other rookies here for 2024. Yeah. Is that the main reason why he's behind them? Is that one of the main reasons?
It is. It is that. I think that's one of the main reasons. And, yeah, the elongated release, maybe a little bit of a slower release compared to it. Some of the other guys, even though it's not a slow release for a longer motion, he still can get it out pretty quick. But like, hey, screen games, quick pass, all of that. Yeah, I think he's one of the slower ones in that department as far as getting it out of his hand, right? So that is definitely part of that, of why he's there. And, you know, as much as I defend the fact that he didn't throw and it was third down and like there's a positive there,
we haven't seen it. You know,
exactly.
We haven't seen a lot
there's still a part of me that like that general conversation we're talking about, there's still merit to that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I'd feel better about my evaluation if I got to see 5 or 6 more big-time games where he had to throw the ball like 37, 38 times, right? Yeah. You just go, okay, man, I've seen every throw. I've seen every movement, every situation. He had to carry the team in big moments, even on first and second down, not just third down, all of that. And I think that's a hair part of my trepidation there.
Well, we have their schedule. When may we see, this is the talking thing. I haven't talked on the podcast for a long time, so I'm having an issue here. When may we see J.J. McCarthy starting for the Minnesota Vikings? See, that was actually a tongue twister, right?
That definitely was.
Difficult. Yes. Wasn't me on a Wednesday here.
I think this is be game 1.
You think game 1?
I do.
Over Sam Darnold?
I do. I think it's game 1.
He beats him out, or it's close enough to where they want to begin the J.J. McCarthy era? Like, he clearly beats him out.
I think it's going to be like really close, but Ty goes to the 10th pick of the draft, right? Ty goes to the future of the organization. Right, this kid's played in a lot of big football. I'm not worried about him, like, going into Giant Stadium, MetLife, right, to start the year and being like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I forgot to say set hut, coach. I'm seeing ghosts out here. I don't know. Like that's not going to happen with J.J. McCarthy. I mean, that's why he's, what'd you say, 61-3? That's why he wins at Ohio State. He wins in the Rose Bowl. He wins in the national championship. He's not going to be bothered, and we'll just see. Was he going to sit under the goalpost and do his Zen thing?
Oh, I'm sure.
In the NFL still?
I would think that would happen. Cool. It worked very well. So
I'm going right away, though, there.
Right away. So then Pete asked this question.
Right.
Of all the rookie quarterbacks, does he have the best situation of any of those guys?
It's a great question.
You got Justin Jefferson. You got Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I think
T.J. Hockenson.
I think it's the best situation. I think when you couple the talent around him with the coaching, it's the best one.
Yes.
Right? Like I like Caleb Williams' situation as a rookie, right? But, there's a new OC there. How's that going to work? All of that. Okay, that's part of it. It's not Kevin O'Connell, right? Yeah. I like Bo Nix's situation, but I'm also like, the talent around him is not like it is in Minnesota.
That's true.
Right? So this one, to me, was probably the best when you put it all together. We've hit on it. Their tackles are special. I mean, it's as good a tackle tandem as you're going to find in football. And when T.J. Hawkinson's back healthy from the torn ACL, I'd put those skill guys, or at least their pass catcher guys, and actually all their skill guys, I'd say that's, towards the top of football of a group right there.
And this is how crazy. We're going to talk about odds to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right now, Minnesota is the only team in the NFC North not projected to be a playoff team.
I don't really understand that. I'm shocked they're not. Well, I mean, I guess I know there's only so many spots, but are they way out of the odds?
Probably not.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. I mean, again, I just think that's a team that improved themselves in the offseason. It definitely did. And, in a lot of ways, hey, he's got a lot of Kirk Cousins in him, except it's like Kirk Cousins with what the kids do now. Like my son, he's like, can I have $50 to upgrade my player?
Yeah.
I want to make his arm stronger, and I want to make him a little bigger and a better athlete. And it's like, that's what they did here. Now, is he going to read field and do all that stuff like Kirk Cousins right away? No, obviously not. But he's better than any backup they had coming in the game last year, and they did pretty good with backups. And his top-end talent is better than Kirk Cousins. He's going to make some throws, just as we heard from our reporter there, Alec Lewis, right? That Kevin O'Connell's going to go, holy shit, I couldn't call this play with Kirk Cousins. I can call this play like every 4 plays now with this guy because he just throws strike after strike after strike, and that's what I'm excited for with J.J. McCarthy.
All right, you almost segued to number 29 on your own here.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. That's fine. You can do that. You don't need me. Number 29 in your top 40 quarterback list is?
Bo Nix, Denver Broncos, number 12th overall pick, right? I mean, another guy in a perfect situation, another guy that I'm just going to tell you, it's just rare to be coming in the NFL and I think be this NFL ready. Another guy that I would say played NFL football in a lot of ways. It was different than, J.J. McCarthy, right? They didn't, instead of like run the ball up the middle to Blake Corum, they were like, nah, we're not that big up front. How about a quick screen outside and do that, right? We're going to kind of throw the quick game and the screen game to substitute for a run game and do that. And because that's the offense they ran, just like J.J. McCarthy, it's used against the player. And I don't, necessarily agree with that narrative or what people are saying about Bo Nix.
I talked to Will Stein. I mentioned that. I was out at Oregon. I was talking to them. We were getting to know that team new into the Big Ten this year, so we went out there to see some of the coaches, and I talked to Will Stein. Great guy.
Yeah.
He got that job kind of out of nowhere. It was his first year on the job.
Yeah.
He was talking about Bo Nix. He goes, we did a lot of quick passing stuff. He goes, really, no reason, really. It just was what was working. It's what the input, and then it worked, and then they kept rolling with it. He was like, I don't think he couldn't handle it. So sometimes you see that and you go, oh, they don't think he can handle it.
Right.
But from talking to Will Stein, it was like, no, that's just the offense we put in. It was his first year there. They tried to maybe keep it simple for him and Bo and
the talent they had on the team.
And it worked.
Exactly. It worked. They had those type of receivers, right? They had a running back that was more kind of a space running back, not a sledgehammer back.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the heat map if you're watching on our YouTube channel here, right?
A lot around the line of scrimmage.
A lot around the line of scrimmage, a lot over the middle.
They were one of the best teams in the country with it.
And that's why him and that fit with Sean Payton, he does a lot of that right there, right? Drew Brees made a living in that area. 5,000 yards. Oh, you're all over that stuff? Oh, boom. Right down the middle. Michael Thomas is open for a big play or whatever. But so, one, the narrative's wrong. Because if you and I or any common folk out there sat down and watched some film together, I'd go, this is a power throw. Look how easily he makes this.
He has the ability to do that.
Right. Look at this deep post off his back foot, 57 yards in the air. Look at the comeback on the far hash. Like, there's plenty there to see it, right? So I had no issues with it. And again, I went into the film of Bo Nix going, I'm going to see a guy that's smart, knows how to play a little bit, but is never going to wow me physically. And that just couldn't have been more wrong. It couldn't have been more wrong. As I talked about McCarthy running the pro offense, and I try to hit it here with Bo Nix, same thing, though. I mean, first off, they where we talked about Jayden McCarthy, we'd like to see more, right? We got to see that with Bo Nix. I mean, they threw the ball a ton. And no, it might have not been long, but damn, okay, still a 6-yard throw, perfect decision. Wow, he made a quick decision. Damn, he put the ball exactly where it needed to be so the guy can turn upfield and now do that. He is precision passer, plus has power in his arm, plus has the ability, as you heard me say, and I go back and when I watched again, over the weekend of these guys, just to kind of solidify thoughts and see it again, his athletic ability is amazing. It is really good. As I told you during the process, his scrambling and in the pocket and behind the line of scrimmage, only Caleb Williams is better. He's better than Jayden Daniels, Penix, McCarthy, all of them extending plays and then making a play with his arm to throw the ball after that, right? As I've tried to allude to, he's not the same runner Jayden Daniels is. He's a good runner, but he's a better scrambler and a scrambler to throw. And that's where he's really impressive. But in a lot of ways, you get to see him play NFL West Coast quarterback offense already. And that's where, me and you heard me say it. Back at the Combine, as soon as I watched Bo Nix on film, I went, well, me. Sean Payton's definitely going to like Bo Nix. I can tell you that. And here we are a few months later, and he's the quarterback for Sean Payton.
Didn't Sean call you up and tell you to keep it down?
No, he did not. No.
Stop talking about
I don't have that kind of relationship with Sean, but I know some people that know Sean. I know he does listen a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know he knows I know him. Like, he knows. I know him.
Yeah.
I just have paid attention to him too long. I'm too big of a fan of him. And then he's another guy that grew up in the Bill Parcells school of coaching a little bit, right? So there's some similarities, I think, in thought process of football there.
So Pete is worried here, though.
Yeah.
He was in a quarterback-friendly offense in college.
Yep.
Now he's going to a quarterback-friendly offense with a quarterback-friendly coach. So even if he puts up stats this year, will he get the credit he deserves?
Oh, that's a valid question. Maybe not. I don't know. As we know, Pete, right? The hell with some of that stuff sometimes. That's why we're here, to tell people, like, give them the damn credit. And I think with this situation, he's going to impress people with his physical ability, and he's going to squash some of those rumors right away, let alone, like, maybe let's listen to the guy who knows more than all of us at this every now and then, who keeps saying he's really good and does all this. Yes, and not Chris Simms, Sean Payton.
Oh.
I'm pretty good too, listen to me. But damn, Sean Payton's saying some damn stuff too, as you know. And so, like, I have no concerns over Bo Nix. I said this to my dad. Here was my one, like, if I go down a road of in the weeds and me, is that Bo Nix is so good and so smooth at picking up the offense and so good at all of it that they put too much on his plate early on in the season, thinking like, oh, he's got it. We'll give him another check with that play, blah, 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 right? And where I want to say, hey, he's still a rookie. Let's try to make it simple and make some things easy for him.
Right.
But I don't think this is a guy that's going to have a hard transition here. I think he fits their offense, and I know it's not about their offense right now or anything like that. He is made for the NFL, and he would fit in a lot of offenses. That's what I'm saying. That is what people need to start to realize here, right? And he's got his own skill set, right? That, yeah, you want to do this or do that with him. Yeah. You can do quarterback design run. But, yeah, I'm a fan of Bo Nix, as you can tell.
I think it almost could be the opposite, right? Because he is a first-round quarterback. And I think if you're a first-round quarterback, you get that cachet. And if you do well, people start saying, like, man, you should have been taken number 2 overall. Or he might have the numbers that make people say that midway through the year, is that he was worthy of the Washington Commanders taking him with the number 2 pick. All right, scale of 1 to 10.
Yep.
And I already kind of know the answer to this, but let's get into it.
Okay.
How much do you care about age? Because he turned 24 in February. He is the same age as Trevor Lawrence, who's been in the league, seems like 25 years now.
Yeah.
He was the 3rd oldest quarterback taken in round 1 in the common draft era. We have all the quarterbacks who were older than him, Brandon Weeden, is an outlier at 28.9. Then you got Jim Druckenmiller. Okay. Bo Nix, Michael Penix are two of the older ones that we have seen since the 1960s. And then look at the bottom. I didn't know your dad was almost 24.
Yeah, 23. He was a 5-year college guy, right?
Okay.
So that was it. And
the names on this list, I will be honest with you, are not inspiring.
No,
outside of your dad,
they're not. Now, there's like some others that I think are, not far off of this age group here that are, also good players. So first off, I don't give a shit about any of this. That's what I want to say to you right off the bat. I turned 24 my rookie year. Eli Manning turned 24 his rookie year. Joe Burrow turned 24 his rookie year. Joe Flacco turned 24 his rookie year. So I know they didn't make that graphic because they missed out by 7 days or whatever. Carson Palmer as well, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Carson Wentz. Well,
I don't
should have left him.
I don't understand why this even matters. Yeah. I really don't. I think it's like such a stupid talking point, and the fact that I can get a guy that's a little more mature mentally and physically for the position that needs somebody mature mentally and physically is a bad thing. And now we're worried about he might not be able to be here 17 years from now. Like, are you kidding me? Like, is that really a point right now? Like, oh, you're only going to have him for 15 instead of 17 now. Like, what? No, let's see how it goes 3 years from now. And then we'll go from there. Like, come on. Like, who the hell cares? I don't look at it as a negative at all. I don't at all. In fact, I think in this day and age and where we're at right now, I think it's more of a positive than anything else.
Right. I think there's that false narrative that once you're 24 or 25, you can't get better anymore.
Yeah.
And that J.J. McCarthy as a 21-year-old still has a lot of room to grow, whereas a guy like Bo Nix at 24 is already at his ceiling. But
I don't think that has anything to do with it. No, it doesn't. It's now. It's like,
we saw Tom Brady get better in his 30s.
Exactly.
Right?
I saw Joe Burrow, who was on we just talked about, turned 24 his rookie year. I mean, his rookie year, he got done with it. And he was like, I need to get better. I need to throw the ball better. I need to throw it harder. And he adjusted and did that. So, yeah, I don't think the age has anything to do with necessarily the growth of the player or the potential of the player at times. If you haven't been taught certain things, I don't care what age you are, when you learn them, okay, I'm better at this now because I have some talent and I'm pretty natural at doing this, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's any different here.
So we talked about this a little bit when you had Jarrett Stidham, who you ranked 40th in your top 40.
Right.
So he's not going to waltz in and necessarily be the best-looking quarterback on his team right away. He's got some competition
He
there.
does.
But do you think Bo Nix is starting week 1?
I is another one. I'm going to say yes. I am. By the person he is, the student of the game he is, the talent he has. Sean Payton's going to want to make sure this gets framed right, because it's like, it's on him that Russell Wilson didn't work right? Mm-hmm. So he wants to make sure this is his new little baby here, right? At Seattle, going back to the Northwest, little Bo Nix back to his, basically his old stomping grounds there. But Again, he's another guy I'm going to go, I'm not worried about him in that situation or the loud crowd noise. Played a ton of big college football, mature, coach's son, all of that. And Sean Payton will manage him and take care of him the right way too. Yeah, I like J.J. McCarthy, who we just talked about, Ahmed. I mean, it's got a backup that has some physical ability, right? It's not going to be like, just a walk in the park, right? Stidham's got some traits that I said at the time when we talked about in the ranking. I go, he's got some starting caliber physical traits to him. He really does. Now, I just don't know if he's going to be able to overcome Bo Nix, who, of course, has some big-time caliber traits as well.
The only problem for Bo Nix potentially is that Zach Wilson is also there, and he might go up to him and be like, hey, buddy, Chris liked me too, so don't let it get to your head.
You're funny.
You go, oh no, yeah, beware the curse,
Sean
man.
Payton liked him too, just so you know.
All right, so that helps.
Okay.
That helps him there a little bit. All right, so that is 30 and 29. We're staying in the same tier throughout this whole pod. Ready, rookie. So these guys are ready.
They're ready.
You're ready to go week 1 for both those guys we just talked about. I wonder this next guy as well. Number 28 for you on your top 40 list is
Jayden Daniels, Washington Commanders, number 2 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner, baller supreme. Yes, he will be the starter day 1. Let's just get that out of the conversation right away as the number 2 pick. And another guy where Does he need a few some work here and there? Okay, sure. We'll get into that in a second. But, you know, there's a lot more to build on and the positives than anything. I mean, his throwing, first off, is just it's a consistent machine for the most part. That's what I would say with Jayden Daniels. He's got a great motion, right? He can replicate it time after time after time, right? He can make any throw in the field like we talked about during the draft process. He does not need a lot of space to do it. He doesn't. He can throw over people because he's so tall and long, right? He does see the field well. All of that, and then, of course, his get-out-of-jail-free card with his running, and if he sees a lane, is going to help him a lot in the NFL. It's going to make him dangerous in the NFL. And I think it's, of course, going to lead to a lot of highlight plays. I don't have any doubt about that.
He was your number 2 quarterback behind Caleb Williams in the draft rankings. The narrative Pete has put here is slight-framed, run-first quarterback who is talented but could get crushed in the NFL.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't think he's a run-first quarterback. I think people are wrong to say that when I hear that narrative, right? He wants to throw it. Now, is he a little quick to leave the pocket or maybe not go through the reads? Yes, but I don't think it's enough where I would classify it run first. He's just a 1-2, then run, right? And he needs to get to 1-2-3 and then run. And then he'll get to a point like a year or two from now where he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I can run. Like I can see it all, and I can get to that run thing in a quick, right? He'll get there. He will. But yeah, right now, that's where he is. Let alone, you know, the other two negatives I would throw with that, you know, I talked about a little bit during the process too. You don't see a ton of arm angles throwing the football, right? Right, and he doesn't always get that front shoulder turned, and we talked about that too, to his backside, to where it can lead to an errant throw. But not that I'm concerned about it or anything like that. But as I alluded to with the Bo Nix conversation a minute ago, right, the biggest thing I think that Jayden Daniels needs to work on is a little bit of that. It goes into the run first thing, but it's not run first. It's the pocket, hanging in there a little bit longer, and then moving in the pocket a little bit better, whether that's to make people miss the setup to throw or just feeling the soft spot in the pocket to then have the time to throw or at least not take the sack, I think is going to be part of the Jayden Daniels development as we go here.
So that would be maybe the number one most concerning thing when you look at some of his numbers is that not only was he was quick to leave the pocket, but even though he was quick to leave the pocket, he still did take a lot of sacks.
He did.
And so that movement within the pocket here, I think we have a chart, the pressure to sack ratio.
And
this is from
I didn't even realize this, so I'm glad you guys are backing me up with this one here.
This is an eye chart here. Hold on. He's 4th on this list. This is pressure to sack. So how many times you're pressured, and then how many times do you get sacked? And that self-pressure, that's interesting too, because that must mean that you kind of created the pressure or you didn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, I think that's probably what that means. Or he moved into the pressure itself, right?
Yeah.
Which I saw at times where we've hit on this on other quarterbacks in years past where, just like you hear me say it all the time, like, hey, just stay there. Nobody's there. Why are you floating this way? There's a big, scary defensive end there that's going to knock your head off, right? So those are the things that he certainly needs to work on.
So I'll say this.
But look at some of these guys on here.
So here you go. So in the NFL, Sam Howell, in college, he had trouble avoiding the sack when pressured. In the NFL, also had trouble. And Will Levis, he had a few games where he had 6 or 7 sacks.
Same type of thing. And we said these things about them coming out in the draft. That was one of my Will Levis problems, right? I didn't like his feel in the pocket. Right, I did not think. I thought he moved the wrong way a lot, and he made some improvements there. Justin Fields, right? He's on this list, right? But some of these guys are on this list, and this is where context does matter, right? They're sacked because they've gotten out of it so many times too. They go, well, I'm going to get out of this one too. I don't want to throw it away because I'm about to break this and turn the corner for a 40-yard run, right? So there's part of that as well of like, yeah, you're going to deal with some sacks with these guys because they're always kind of trying to look and make the big play, right? And I think that's a little bit of what happens with Jayden Daniels, as well as not just having great feel in that department quite yet.
It's Cliff Kingsbury who will have to fix that problem if it is a problem in the NFL. Jayden said this about Cliff just recently. He goes, just learning the playbook, going back, watching the stuff. It's different than the air raid We're not going to air the ball out 50 times a game. You've got to have balance. One thing about Cliff is open-minded. He ain't the OC that's like, it's my way. We got to do X, Y, and Z. Just having conversations with him, it's like, man, what do you like? How can we help the team be better? So they're not going to ask him to throw the ball 50 times per game until they get down early week 1, and then you got to throw it 50 times in this game.
I don't think they're going to want to throw it 50 times a game, especially with the defensive head coach. But for me to sit here and tell you I think they're going to be patient with the run game, I got to see that to believe that first.
They got Austin Eckler now.
Yeah.
They have Brian Robinson Jr.
Right.
They have an offensive line that probably will have difficulties at times.
It's a work in progress, right? Cliff Kingsbury's never been famous for his run game. That's for sure. Right, I like Robinson. You know that he's a bell cow. He's a killer.
He's got those big hats too,
right,
which is cool.
Right, and then Eckler's going to be good in the pass game off of that, and some of the spread game.
But am I safe in saying that you're still skeptical about Cliff and him crafting an offense that might be conducive?
Yeah, well, or at least has answers and curveballs as the year goes on. I like his base offense. Right? I don't have problems with that. I kind of hit this with my dad on Monday a little bit. It's like the problem with Cliff is just like we got to like week 10 every year, and I was like, they need what else is there? Everybody's kind of on to what they're doing. So what's the next move? What are you going to do? What's the curveball? What's the change up here? That's the thing that I look for Cliff Kingsbury. But in this case too, right, where like you heard me say, I don't know if he's going to be quite as good at some of the quarterbacky stuff maybe that a Bo Nix or a J.J. McCarthy are right now, but it's not that far behind. And I think him being in the shotgun, spreading the field, and him kind of living that life is actually going to be good for him. I think that's what he's made for. One, I think it's going to open up the field to let him run if he's got to run, right? And he is a good quick game thrower, and he can be a machine. Right, because I told you, his mechanics, he can really replicate them time after time after time. And it allows him to get the ball out of his hand quick. He has a very quick release that way. There's not a lot of wasted motion. And he's pretty damn consistent with the short to intermediate passing game, put it in the right spot. I could kind of see them living that way. Almost like you talked about with Oregon, where it's like, hey, we're not smash mouth running football team. That's not who we are. So we were going to throw a lot of short game, quick game, quarterback design, run, right? All that type of stuff. That'll kind of make up for the run game, the lack of a run game. And I think they go that way. That's at least what I would expect to see. And it's similar to what he did in college. So I think he can thrive in that area.
They were what, a 2-win team last year, a 3-win team? I don't even know.
Yeah, they were
not many wins.
Yeah, it was. Well, here I'll tell you right now, just to pull it up here.
As we look at their schedule,
4-13.
They're a 4-win team. Okay, they're a 4-win team last year. So as we look at their schedule, how successful can they be, or is this just a let's see what we got? Let's give Jayden a year. Let's give this new coaching staff a year.
Exactly.
If we have some success at the end of the year, that's gravy.
I don't think expectations are going to be real high here. I don't expect them to be. I mean, one, I don't think the defense, they made additions and free agency and all that, right? And, they got a lot of numbers of guys, and they're going to be learning a new scheme. But I still don't look at the defensive side of the ball and just go, oh, look at that talent. They're about to be dominant here.
I mean, could this be a Bryce Young, things are really bad, and now we're worried about our rookie quarterback after a rough rookie season?
No, it's not. It's not. He's not going to be Bryce Young, right? Well, the thing is, too, the kid's got size. I didn't allude to that, right? The skinniness of all that. There's more to him than people realize. When you meet him in person, you're going to go, oh, wow, he's got a little more muscle and structure to him than I thought. And that's only going to increase, right? But no, again, he can play the size game. Yeah, when he takes a hit, he's skinny and whatever, to a degree. But it's not like it was with Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young, sometimes you were like, was that real, or is that a cartoon? I mean, I got to rewind that and watch that again. I've never seen a quarterback fly through the air like that, right? You don't quite see that here with Jayden Daniels. I like a lot about Jayden Daniels. I think this is a good spot for him. I think, again, it's another spot, no doubt, starting week 1, and no doubt the expectation should not be high there for their football team. They have a tough early schedule. It's going to be ugly in some weeks. It is. It's going to be rough. That's who they are this year. But it's all about just laying the framework for the future because, hey, at Bucks, we know Giants at home, okay, maybe they can steal one there. We don't know what the hell the Giants are. But damn, at Bengals, we know that's going to be brutal. I think the Cardinals are an up-and-comer. And then you get the Browns and the Ravens after that. Holy shit, you better get ready for some football there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to be some tough stretches. There's no doubt about that. But I think the running he has is going to make up for some of the other deficiencies we talked about. And again, his deficiencies I don't think are that deficient. I think he's a pretty damn good player.
That running works week one. He's ready. He's
exactly
NFL
right.
ready with that.
That first lane that opens up.
Yeah.
And we're going to go, oh my gosh, he's gone. 55-yard touchdown run by Jayden Daniels. Like, we're going to probably be saying that week one.
Should be a fun player to watch.
Yes.
So all the rookie quarterbacks you've talked about so far, you said week one, they are the starter.
Yes.
We will not say that about our next quarterback.
This guy's on the bench.
Who, because of his place in this list, you think if he were to start year one, he would give your team a better chance to win than the guys we've talked about so far. Number 27 for you.
Michael Penix Jr. Yes. The controversial 8th pick of the draft. The lefty. Yeah, I got love for you, lefty. That's right. Yep, heart. Right. Yeah, I can do the heart too. What up?
Yeah, there we go.
What up?
Lefty to lefty.
So, I mean, again, I had Penix, McCarthy, right, and Nix in the same tier, and I liked all of them. Right. It was a weird year. I liked all of these damn quarterbacks,
except for one.
Well, except for one. Right. Now, with Penix, I had him 5th. Or 4th, excuse me.
Yep.
And, I mean, none of it was because of his throwing or anything like that, right? A little bit more of, like, movement in the pocket I wish was a little bit better, right? The frailness of his body bothered me in that Michigan game a little bit, right? There's a part of me, too, of, hey, they were on a good team, and it was so open and all that, and, the game never got gritty and ugly, and I guess maybe I held that against them a little bit, and I don't know if I'm even right in that department. That damn part of the rankings was hard, right? I knew Caleb and Jayden were 1, 2, but, man, that next group was hard. But what I will say is, as far as playing in the NFL right now, playing in the pocket and throwing NFL type of throws, Michael Penix is ready right now, this second, right? I don't have any doubt about that. All the things we talked about, we would have liked to have seen this more with J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix. It's like, no, we saw it with Penix. He stood in the pocket and made big throws down the football field. And because of that, he's very used and seasoned to reading the field, right? Hanging in there, making throws, right? And making a variety of throws. And that, to me, is kind of when I went back and watched and did the list, I was like, man, we're all on the same team. We all got the same offense, right? Penix can survive just just keep the tight end in, and we'll block, and we'll send people down the field, and he's going to make a great throw and the right read off of that. And I kind of gave him a little bit of an advantage of that as far as right now, today in the NFL, or week 3 or 4, as I kind of put it, he's ready in that department more than some of the other guys we just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how, of course, that whole thing goes. He is, to go back to age, 24. He turned 24 earlier this month. He is 1 day older than Trey Lance.
It's crazy.
So how about that? So that speaks to your point again here.
Trey Lance, he's young. You got all this time to mold him. You guys, they fixed him. 49ers and Cowboys have fixed him.
Yeah.
He's ready to take over the league. Look because he was young and they can mold him. Get out of here.
So Michael Penix. So Terry Fontenot has been talking afterwards. He goes, when you can add a high caliber player like that with his intangibles, those tools, you don't pass up that opportunity. Kirk Cousins is our quarterback. We're very excited about Kirk. Very excited about this team. And Michael Penix is we're talking about the future. So that's very clear. They've done a couple of things here. Spent $180 million on one quarterback and signed another one or drafted another one in the top 8. Is this going to be a Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith situation? I look back too, and it was like Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees. Drew Brees was there 2 years, so they're all a little different because Drew Brees was in the last year of his contract. They franchise tagged him after that, but worked out really well for Phillip Rivers, and obviously sitting a year worked out really well for Patrick Mahomes. So I know we don't want to relitigate the whole wasn't smart, not all that.
Yeah, we know it wasn't
smart. But now that it's done,
right.
Could this work out very, very well for Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons eventually?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, Big Phil and I talked about this on Monday. Like, their interest is to make it work here, and it's he's not going to sit too long. And I think Big Phil put it the right way. Like, he's kind of 1 year. And then draft a guy at number 8 with a rocket launcher left arm and go, well, let's let him sit a few more years here. Right? So I do think here would be the first thing I would say. Like, as far as the Mahomes to Alex Smith thing, Kirk Cousins is better than Alex Smith. So that's not as easy of a, like, let's just pull him off the field and do that, right? Of course, there's the money and what they got invested into him right now. I think, like, Kirk Cousins has a long leash this year. I do. I think that's a long leash. I don't think it's going to take disaster, I think, for them to bench him, right? Whether that's injury or on-field play disaster, right? They're going to ride with this year. If they don't, and they just pull him, right? Here's the politics of football a little bit. You're going to have people like me clowning you. Clowning you. Yeah. They know that. Everybody. Why the did you sign Kirk Cousins if you're putting Michael Penix in week 7? Why? They don't want to have to answer that question. They're going to give him a leash that's connected to another leash that's connected to a 100-yard rope, okay? So he's got a long leash this year, I think. Michael Penix, nonetheless, is still made for the NFL, pocket passing, throwing the ball down the field this second. Now, you know, there's weaknesses to Michael Penix's game. Yeah, he's not the greatest scrambler, right? You know, I do worry about if he gets a little thin and gets beat up, does his body, can it handle it? You know, he doesn't do like a lot of bootlegs and stuff like that, right? So that'd be a part of the offense. You go, that's not really available to him all the way. He doesn't do that a ton, okay? You know, his movement in the pocket is better than people gave it credit for, but it's still not up with Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, or Caleb Williams, right? It's not in that department. Let alone, here's another reason why, you know, in the overall ranking of things for the quarterback, the draft, right? And then he needs a little space to throw the football, right? So you're going to play with him like, you know, yeah, you want to play in the shotgun and keep people in and block and let him feel comfortable so he can unleash that right arm and make some big throws down the football field. The quick passing game is not necessarily his strength. You don't see that a lot at Washington. You know, the throws that we talked about with Bo Nix and all of that are like that he's so good at. That is not an area that Michael Penix thrived in, right? And there's something to that. I mean, again, there's value in being in 2nd and 4 as compared to, wait, we can't even call that play because he's not that good at it, so we're going to try to throw the ball down the field because that's what he's good at, and now we're in 2nd and 10, right? So, you know, those are some of the negatives of Michael Penix. But, man, you know, sitting in the pocket, throwing the ball down the field and making reads like that, that's where I gave him a little advantage over the rest of the guys. And, yeah, if he was playing quarterback for my team like we are doing here, I'd probably be a little more apt to, hey, let's keep a guy in the block here. Let's let him feel comfortable and let him unleash that left arm.
You have fewer concerns about him than the other quarterbacks we've talked about year number 1 in the NFL.
Right.
You think the ceiling perhaps on all of those guys, J.J. McCarthy might be close for you, but you think the ceiling on the guys we've talked about already is probably maybe a little bit higher than Michael Penix.
Yeah,
maybe it's not ceiling, it's just certainty with, because I go back to that Michigan game, right? It was like the Texas game was so easy for him,
yes,
and he looked so good, and not that it was easy. They just looked awesome in that game.
Yeah.
But then Michigan's got that defense, they got the defensive front, they put some pressure on him, really did make him look a little rattled. That would be the concern.
I think they're saying it right. You're right. You know, ugly game, gritty game, right? All of that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, people around me, I got to get, my release is a little longer than the rest of these guys.
Now, we did just see in that last graphic with Jayden Daniels that Michael Penix was on the reverse side, that he did not. He was able to avoid. Those pressures did not turn into sacks against Michael Penix. So
yeah, well, they had a great offensive line, right? And he's one that wasn't looking to, wait, I can break this tackle and make something happen with my legs like some of the other guys on that list. I think it was a little bit more like, hey, I'm protected, I'm letting it go. Oh, shit, I'm getting pressure. Rome Odunze's down there. Let me just throw it in a spot where maybe he can get it and do it. And he kind of plays along those lines.
And you wonder, too, for a guy that has had the injury history that he has, of course you're going to want to protect your body a little bit more. And maybe rightfully so, right? You're not going to take those hits, or you're going to do everything you can to
stay healthy.
Avoid that contact and stay healthy. Did we see the video of Michael Penix at OTAs? I think good.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
He had kind of a swag walk right there.
Oh, he's got swag that oozes off him.
Okay, good throw here. That's a first down.
Good throw. That was a really damn good throw.
Okay, here we go.
This is okay. You know, but I've seen that one there. Let me see that first one again, if you don't mind, Pete.
I want to see
that
the swag
in cut
too. Can we see the swag when he walks in?
Yep.
I think that was kind of cool.
He walks out like,
he's pointing to people.
But this, right here, boom.
Phew. Right over the
that was a nice throw right there.
Nickel guy or whatever.
Real nice throw.
Cool.
Yep. I'm excited to see Michael Penix. And like I said, they are going to, I think, have to manage Michael Penix in the preseason.
Oh.
The opposite management.
You don't want him to light it up.
Reverse management. Exactly.
He could go out there and light it up.
They're going to be like, we can't call this play because this might go 80 for a touchdown, and it's going to cause a problem. Let's call the slant play again. Let's toss it to the running back. Let's just toss it. Definitely. They're going to have to be careful about how good he looks in the preseason, I think, because it just, if he goes out there and lights it up in the preseason and Kirk Cousins is on a pitch count and they're trying to save him, you know what the talk's going to be there. I mean, it's going to start up. They're not going to avoid this talk no matter what. They're definitely not going to avoid it if he tears up the preseason and, Kirk Cousins is only taking a few reps here and there.
And if he does tear it up, guess who's sending multiple first-round picks over to the Atlanta Falcons for Kirk Cousins? Your Las Vegas Raiders, the new home of Kirk Cousins. I don't know, wouldn't that be crazy? All right, so this is interesting here.
Yeah.
The DraftKings Sportsbook has the NFC odds to make the playoffs. And so here's where the teams sit right now. The 49ers are most likely to make the playoffs in the NFC according to DraftKings. No surprise there.
Yeah.
But the number 2 team, and this is a surprise, the number 2 most likely team to make the playoffs, they say the second favorite, the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
Division is at play there with that, but also improved roster. And you had no quarterback last year. Now you have 2.
Exactly. No, I mean, I understand the logic.
They also have the 32nd strength of schedule.
That's
as you
the biggest thing, right? I think that's where it is. One, it's a team that's better than people realize. 2, like you just joked and alluded to, was a playoff team last year. They just didn't have the quarterback. It's plain and simple. They were a playoff football team last year that could not rely on the passing game to do anything, really. So that was an issue. So I do get that. Yeah, and it seems like it's more schedule related almost more than anything here. But it's interesting to see there, so many of these top NFC teams have, not the worst schedule layout in the world as far as the strength.
None in the top 10.
It's pretty surprising.
Is that all in the AFC? Because the AFC is considered stronger?
I guess so. And, I think it's probably a little bit of the year of like how these teams and what crossover divisions they're playing, and they just got a little lucky that way. But, yeah, the Atlanta Falcons, you look at their schedule and you go, yeah, the second half of the year has got some teams that you go, yeah, I'm not sure how good that team will be or what that's going to be. Now, the first half, the first bit there, Steelers, Eagles, Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
That ain't no joke right there.
3 teams from the NFC North as well.
Yes,
I mentioned before, Minnesota Vikings were, what'd you say, Pete, plus 260? Is that what they were? 5th hardest schedule for the Minnesota Vikings. So teams with the hardest schedules in 2024, Pete has produced for us. Steelers number 1, Patriots number 2. Gerard Mayo did not need that. Cleveland Browns number 3, Baltimore Ravens number 4, and then the Vikings 5.
Yeah, well, so the AFC North, as they're playing each other, so they're all like, oh gosh, we're all in the playoffs, we're all playing each other.
Right.
That makes things a little harder there. Again, if I had I look at that list and look at it, one, I of course like all those teams as far as the NFC are concerned, but man, that Bears one's another one. You look at it, a great value bet there. Or gosh, damn, the Packers too, not bad. They're all pretty damn good.
Man,
they really are. But your North is going to have some competition this year.
It's going to be good. It's going to be fun to watch. Lions will still dominate. DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of the NBA too, if you didn't know.
And during the playoffs, new customers can bet $5 and pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly.
You can download the app, use the promo code Unbuttoned when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. All right, that's as pumped up as I will get this whole podcast. Even though I'm not a big gambling guy, I've made that clear in the past.
Yeah.
I dabbled in it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I like friendly gambling.
Yeah.
I don't usually use sports books all the time, or ever actually, but I do like a little friendly wager of kissing your feet or doing something like that. Or not.
Yeah, we don't enjoy, I don't know if we enjoy that or not. Okay, we have one more
Pete
to talk
says
about.
I still owe him for the Browns playoff game, and you're right.
Oh, you do?
He took the Texans,
But you'll get them.
Ask for the money. Speak up, okay?
You've said
this is now. So now he's not going to speak about this. And then let's see. The last time he didn't speak up, his ass got his car ran out of gas, and he was on the side of the road after the podcast at 2:30 in the morning because he was too prideful to ask for, hey, can somebody give me $20 for gas so I can make it home that night?
Hey, Chris, could you just give me the $20 that you owe me anyway? Never let that happen again, Pete. Ask for the money. How much was it? How much was the bet, too? $20.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Pete wouldn't have had to spend the night on the side of the road that one time. One more quarterback to talk about. Again, this tier is ready rookies. So these are rookies who are ready to play. Number 26 on your list is?
Not a rookie, but we're treating him a little bit like one. He's still kind of in there, and that is Will Levis, the Tennessee Titans, the number 33 pick from the 2023 draft, right? Exceeded expectations, exceeded my expectations. Got to give him a lot of credit. I really do. Because some of the things I didn't love about him coming out in college, I could see that he tried to work on them, get better at them. You saw that on the field. It was tangible that way. I don't think there's any denying a few things about the guy's game, right? The arm is elite powerful. It's up there in the higher rankings of powerful arms in all of football. It really is. He can also really get it out of his hand quickly. And even on power throws, like you'll see like 20-yard out routes and you go, damn, he's almost throwing this like a screen pass and it's like 6 feet off the ground for 30 yards. And you're like, holy shit, that's a throw. Damn, he leapt into that, right? His athleticism, it jumps out, of course. His presence on the field jumps out. I mean, he's big, right? Now, a little crazy, and we know he's maybe a little more physical than the coach would have liked last year. But my other issue, and we talked about this a little bit before the pod, and you alluded to it a few minutes ago, I hated his pocket presence at Kentucky. I hated it. It was a little like some of the guys we've talked to a little already or talked about, just moving in places where you go, the pocket's perfect. Where are you going? Why are you fading away here and falling into your tackle? Some of that. Is there still some of that? Yes, but you could see he was fighting the demons of it. And you talk about tough and hang in the pocket with people around you to the very last second and take hits and do all that. I mean, it might be too tough. You might be like, hey, come on, just throw it away. Get it out of here. You're going to get killed. But he did a great job with all of that stuff last year. He really did. And, of course, made some big throws and kept them competitive. A definite good positive start for Will Levis's career.
So he was not on your list last year.
Yeah.
And he was tied for 5th in your quarterback rankings last year, tied with DTR there. So I think this would be surprising for some people because you were as down on Will Levis as maybe most people last year.
We're not going to hate, though, just because of old thoughts or old things or whatever. That ain't going to happen here.
Well, you don't have to. So maybe some other people are hating out there because Pete thinks the narrative on him after that 1 year was, hit some deep bombs last year, but didn't do much else. You obviously saw much else there. But let's look at his numbers here. So that first start was awesome for him. Had a great debut, 4 touchdown passes. And then what did he do in the 8 starts after that? Well, he had 4 touchdown passes that first start, and then his last 8 starts had just 4 total there, 4 interceptions. The sack rate did go up a little bit for him. I mentioned that before, the 6-sack game, the 7-sack game as well. So as great as that first game was against Atlanta, it was not smooth sailing from that point forward.
No. It was one of those where when I made my ranking, I was good. And as I knew I was coming up on this part of it, I was going, wait, should Will Levis, I honestly, in my mind, I was going, should I be moving him up more? Should he be higher, right? Does he deserve to even be here in this class of the rookies? Is it better than that? But when I turned on the film and watched it, I went, no, he's rookie plus. He got a few more reps than these guys, certainly, right? But it's still rookie. He was still incredibly managed last year. You go back and watch the game, there's so many plays and throw after throw of it's only 2 people going out. It's only 3 people going out. It's just hey, let's throw a screen here and just try to get him a pass that way and do that, right? There's still a lot of raw. There's still a lot to be worked on, right? I still need to see more variety in throws, but I did see more than I saw at Kentucky. There was I saw a few touch throws and things like that. Is he perfect at them yet? No. But at least I know it's in his golf bag, right? So I love that. Okay. That was good. But also, locking on a receiver too long, right? Maybe staying in the pocket too long. Or, even in the quick game, just wait, I'm going to go here and throw it. And it's like, well, no, wait, that guy's covered. You can't throw that there. Like reset, throw to the next guy. It's got to be the quick game. Boom. Oh, he's not open. Boom, boom. Like, so there's things there to be worked on. And I think the other thing, too, is the mechanics are still not perfect. He has too many throws where he just uses his hips. It's weird. He doesn't get his legs involved, and he's got too much talent to miss a few of the throws he misses. But all in all, it's still a positive start to Will Levis, and you see some special traits in his physical ability and how it translates to the NFL field, and hopefully Brian Callahan and company can really get that out of him.
Pro Football Focus had a little snippet on him.
Yeah, what were they saying?
They said he has the arm talent to be a good starter in this league. He just needs to know when to rip it, and perhaps more importantly, when not to.
That is.
I think that sums up what you were saying as well.
That's exactly right. There's that, and then a little bit of a. Again, the pocket is still a work in progress. I give him credit for not moving around. Like I told you before the pod, he had plays where I swear I could see like Mike Vrabel in his head where he's like, wait, I want to leave the pocket. And he was like, no, Vrabel said stay there, stay in there. He's like almost having to fight the demons there. He did a really good job there, but that's still a part where he can grow a little bit and know when to, hey, pull the plug. It's collapsing. Get out. You're a good athlete, right? Do that. Or, hey, throw the ball into a safe spot here. There's no point in taking that hit or taking that sack and putting your team in that position. Yeah. So he's all growing through all of those things. And then the biggest thing is he's got to protect his body too. I mean, we saw it was too reckless, too physically crazy. I respect it. I like it. He's got muscles for days, but I want him to play too, and I'm rooting for him to do that, and I don't want him to get hurt.
So I think the Tennessee Titans have done a pretty good job of setting himself up. Here's Mike Vrabel says the Titans have showed Will Levis examples of quarterback sliding to encourage him to get down. That didn't work, so Vrabel says they'll show Levis videos of quarterbacks not sliding and getting the S kicked out of them this week.
Videos of quarterbacks not sliding and getting the shit kicked out of him this week is what he said. Okay, we've got to do Mike Vrabel fair with his quote there.
Right.
That's one of the greatest quotes of the year last year.
Yeah, and you could tell it made an impact on him. He was freaked out to move out of the pocket after that. I think the Titans this year have done a pretty good job around. I mean, look at the wide receivers. This is DeAndre Hopkins on the tail end, obviously, but you got Calvin Ridley, who they paid a lot of money for. You got Tyler Boyd there. You drafted J.C. Latham as a tackle with your first pick. You got Peter Skoronski last year as a guard. I mean, they've got talent around him. I mean, he seems like that's a pretty good situation for Will Levis.
It's not bad. And I mean, he's got a lot of offensive brains helping him out as far as, the Callahans. Brian Callahan, his dad, is, of course, the great offensive line coach. I want to know, I'm interested to see what they're going to do on offense, right? He said, Brian Callahan said it's going to be Bengals-ish, right?
So you got Tony Pollard, you got Tajay Spears.
Yeah.
Your running backs.
You got both guys that can do really it all, right? But when he says Bengals-ish, right, I think more shotgun, quick throws, Joe Burrow dicing you up, right? Mm-hmm. Will Levis that's not his strength, as we just talked about. It's not in what his strength was at Kentucky. There's still work to be done there. So are they going to do that? Are they going to be like, hey, hey, just get it out, blah, blah, blah? Or do they try to play more of like, almost Cleveland, Cincinnati-ish? Let's get under the center. Callahan's a great offensive line coach. Let's run the ball a little bit more. And let's let him do play-action passes, not have to do the short passing game and all that, and let him use that big damn arm to throw the ball down the field. Yeah. And then if nothing's there, right, hey, it's play-action pass. He's kind of protected. He should have room to run, and he's pretty good at that too. I just wonder, I'm interested to see their approach on that side of the ball, because to me, the latter part there fits him more, right? But Brian Callahan's been doing what he's been doing in Cincinnati, and is he going to be a little bit more? No, I want to kind of, hey, we're going to run the ball, but I want to use the short passing game as part of the run game too, like they do in Cincinnati with Zach Taylor. That is something I'm interested to see in Tennessee.
Ready rookies plus Will Levis in that whole tier that concludes our countdown, our march through the Chris Simms top 40 quarterback countdown list. We've made
talent there.
Our way all the way up to 26. Your job gets even tougher on Tuesday when we talk again, because there's some quarterbacks there that you're still debating about.
I think this is the most stressful part of this next group that we're going to be doing after this, right?
So here we go.
17, I told you, 17 to 25 is so close. Most guys got flaws, right? Some are up and comers. Some are been great and are falling off. I mean, it's got it all going, and I'm gonna have to give some long looks at the kitchen table this weekend again to make sure I get that right.
All right, so I thought this was going to be the most stressful part. What's my grip? It's time to look at the quarterbacks that we have talked about today.
And I don't know these guys' grips. Like these are ones where they're college guys. I don't want to cheat for this exercise.
Yeah,
right. I'm usually but like college guys, I don't pay attention to the grip as much.
Well,
I haven't seen them as much yet.
Yep.
Right. And then what happens too? You get in college, and as I talked about with my dad or whatever else, the ball's different. So sometimes you get to the NFL and you go, wait, I used to grip the college ball like this,
sure,
but now I'm going to grip the NFL ball like this.
Yeah.
So I know I don't think we're going to have NFL balls.
Yeah,
here.
Pete, are these
college? Oh, you got
all NFL. So this is from OTAs.
OTAs.
Okay,
way to go,
good.
Pete.
Well done, Pete.
Way to raise your game, Pete. Way to go, man.
Good job, guys, back there. So all right, so I think we're ready. Pete. Let's take a look at it. So here's one thing. So we do have a left-handed quarterback.
We have a black lefty and a black righty.
Yeah.
So I think we know A is Michael Penix.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
That is it. But look at that grip, though.
Two
he has a giant hand.
A giant hand.
So he's going almost finger towards the tip. Didn't we talk about that last podcast?
Yes.
Kurt Warner.
Right. Kurt Warner,
Wow.
Terry Bradshaw is, right? I mean, you see how long those damn fingers are. They're not even spread out. They look like they're damn squinched together a little bit. But yeah, he is on two. I think it's 2.
Okay.
And he's under 4, which is very hard with a big hand like that.
So what? But his yeah.
Yeah, see how it's under 4. It's kind of touching 4 a little bit, but it's still what I would classify as under
2 and under. Yep.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Now B is Jayden Daniels, and that is 2 and also under 4.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Very similar.
But look how the ball is kind of cockeyed in Michael Penix's hand.
Yeah.
And Jayden Daniels is kind of straight through his hands, right? So Michael Penix has it kind of angled in a way where he's grabbing the ball from the top down, and then he's got that pointer finger really spread out, but the rest of his fingers are very bunched together there.
Yeah.
Which I find, pretty interesting.
That is.
And for a big-handed guy, I'm always like, damn, that's a lot of hand to squeeze into the small part of the ball there. Jayden Daniels, okay, so we got A and B.
C's a very big hand as well, I feel like.
Yeah, this is a big hand right there. Hold on. C has got me because these are similar grips here too.
Well, C, the other ones we have here, and C more than the other 2, that's not an under.
No.
That's 2 and 5.
That's 2 and 5. That's 2 and, let's see, is that 3? Yeah, that's 5. That's 5. It's almost, damn, is that almost 6?
Man.
Let me see. I'm just counting here. No, it's 2 and 5. I mean, but that's more towards my, my grip, my dad, who we talked about there. Okay, I'm gonna say, damn, I'm gonna go that C is J.J. McCarthy.
Ooh, I would not have guessed that. It's incorrect.
It's Bo Nix.
Oh, no. Will Levis. Oh, that's what I would have guessed.
Wow. Duh. I'm an idiot. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. I was all in my rookie mode here. I was thinking rookie quarterbacks.
You're he's not a rookie. Who would ever put him with the rookies?
Stupid. Yeah.
You put him with the rookies.
Will Levis, right? All right, and that's a similar grip to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I got to figure out Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy.
Now, this is hard. I don't know what this would be. So we got,
D is very similar to C.
So D is almost 1, 2, and 5. Is that
I think it's 2 and 5 again, right? Okay, or is that 2 and 5 or 2 and 4? It's 2 and 4, I think, more.
I thought that ring finger might have been on a.
It's kind of on a. It's right over the lace, but it's really on the lace there. All right, I'm gonna say D is Bo Nix and E is McCarthy.
You got it.
Okay,
you got it. J.J. McCarthy is on the end there. There we go. So, okay.
Yeah, look at Levis's hand. Levis's hand is big.
That's a big hand.
It definitely is. And I'm still, with Penix, I'm really in that grip is intriguing. How he got that big hand on that small part of the ball is pretty incredible.
Now, Jayden is posing for a photo.
Yes.
So that could affect, he might not even know what he's doing right there.
But he's gripping it how he's going to throw
Probably,
it.
yes.
You don't grip a ball. Like a quarterback, when they just grab a ball, it's like, that's how I throw it. Is what I do. It's automatic. So I would promise that. Bo Nix, traditional. I think it's 2 and 5. I think that's 2 and 5. It's more on 5 than like Will Levis's.
Yeah.
And then J.J. McCarthy's got the 2 and under 4.
It's the grip of the NFL.
It's the grip of the NFL right now, right? 2 and under 4, 2 and under,
5.
2 and under.
Yep.
I think you're right. It's 2 and under because it can be under 4, under 5. It's a little bit in that range, but it definitely is the grip of the NFL right now. We're seeing that for sure.
Will Levis, his hands clocked in at 10 inches and 5/8.
Oh, okay. So they're
97th percentile.
So he's got my size hands. That's why he can grip the ball like that.
There we go.
Right? That's my size hand. My dad, Troy Aikman. Right? I wanted to wait, I'm going to grab this whole damn ball and never lose control of it and just manhandle it. Right?
Strangle it.
That's how I felt, right? And I was a really tight gripper of the ball too. My dad was not. He kind of let it had a little space between his palms there that way. I was really I'm going to squeeze the shit out of this ball, right? And which isn't always conducive to throwing in the rain. Because in the rain, now all of a sudden you're going, it's squirting out of my hand. I can't squeeze it, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you got to go, wait, I got to loosen my grip a little bit or I'm not going to be able to throw the ball at all.
Because you're never going to wear a glove.
But my dad could throw the ball in the rain because of his grip. He could do it a little bit. I wasn't going to do that.
Maybe you should have worn a glove.
I know.
You could have. With that tight grip, maybe it would have helped you.
Never would I do that.
All right, so that is big news. Big news. We're going through the Chris Simms Top 40 countdown. It's huge. It reverberates around this building. But you know what else does too?
What's that?
The Indy 500. So we have that. If you've noticed, we have milk here. We don't often have milk here. It is telling us not to do it on the top there. It says, do not drink in giant letters. But they will be doing it at the Indy 500.
Yes, they will.
And so that will be Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on NBC, also on Peacock. They get going there. This is the biggest race of the year in IndyCar.
Definitely. I mean, this is the
108th.
This is the I don't know, as a child, this was the first race I ever heard about, right? I mean, as far as car racing, it was, what do you think you're in the Indy 500 or something? I mean, you heard grandma say something about that when maybe my mom was driving too fast or whatever. Yeah. Right? I mean, this is the first race I ever heard of for sure. And I think it's got two really cool traditions. One is the milk, right? Which I don't know of the last time I actually just drank a straight glass of milk, right? That day is gone a little bit. Maybe some protein shakes with some milk in it.
Sure.
I am a whole milk guy, right? So if I make a bowl of cereal or a protein shake or anything like that.
No skim milk, no 2% whole milk.
No, you need the fat. I need the fat. It's good for you.
Good. It is good for you.
And then the other thing that's cool is they kiss the bricks,
Kiss the bricks,
right.
Yep.
Now that, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get down with that one.
You'd have to. If you won the Indy 500, you'd have to do it.
I guess you're right.
And they get there with their whole team and maybe their family sometime doing it.
Damn. Kissing the ground, though.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, Pete says that at one point you ate a hamburger off the floor of LaGuardia Airport.
I didn't think it totally hit the ground. I had wrapping on it, and I was starving, and I was late for a flight, and I made a bad decision.
And this is after the renovation, so it was looking nice, right? This is LaGuardia looking good.
No. This is while the renovation was going on.
That's
it was a disaster. Yeah, a disaster. Dumbest moment I ever had in my life.
That hamburger came back up, right? So you didn't have to digest it.
It came back up many times the next few days, in fact. Yes. I was miserable in Indy, actually, for the Combine. Yeah. Because I was throwing up on TV show.
Kids out there, don't eat a hamburger off the floor of LaGuardia
Definitely
Airport.
Don't do that. In fact, anything that touches LaGuardia floor, don't touch it, okay? I can tell you that.
Yeah, burn your shoes.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Watch the Indy 500 Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, NBC and Peacock. American tradition right there. So it's part of Memorial Day weekend. But everybody, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. We will be back on Tuesday, right? Monday, not that day because we got the day off. We'll be celebrating, hanging out, hopefully barbecuing with our families, doing something like that. We're finally having sun here in the Northeast. We haven't seen the sun since last September.
It's the best.
And we've actually had 2 days in a row of it. It's incredible.
You forget how cool the sun is.
Subscribe. Hey, son, good to see you. Subscribe, rate, review. You know where to find us. Keep sending them the questions. Next Tuesday is going to be a tough one. Tune in. The quarterback rankings will continue. Ahmed, thanks as always for driving the ship. You are the man. All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a great weekend. Peace out, homies. Clap it up.
Clap it up.
Yo, 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 what's up? Thanks for watching, homies. You know it's the off-season, but there's no off-season with Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It's the NFL. It goes all year around, all right? So hit subscribe, please, to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, your favorite quarterback, and, hey, how this season might unfold as we get ready for the 2024 season. We got a better picture, clearer look now that the draft is over, free agency. We know who's playing quarterback for certain teams. So, again, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. Check you out soon.